Hello, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on a Friday. I have a heap of fun 3D projects coming to you on a Friday for the next, a good few weeks. And today I thought I would revisit a project that I did probably back in about 2015, which was a divided sweetie box. And I thought actually that I would revisit it because I think this would make a fabulous box for loose embellishments. So maybe some buttons, or maybe as a desk gift. So you could put paper clips and push pins and elastic bands or something in there. I thought that would be really fun. I'm probably a little bit late for teacher gifts. I think they're probably all gone and been done now. But if you've got a gift for, say, summer camp or something like that, that might be really handy. So I shall share with you exactly what I did to make this box. It uses the Share What You Love designer series paper, and I'm going to make the exact same box again. Usually I will go and grab a different piece of paper, but I'm not. I'm going to keep it exactly the same. I might turn the paper the other way out. So I have got a piece of crumb cake cardstock that measures 6 by 6 inches. Now, because this is one of those projects that I made back in 2015, I mean, I am using the same measurements. I know I'm naughty. I haven't got round to updating the measurements even 3 years on. So 6 by 6 inches, 15 by 15 centimetres. That's nice and simple. This is 5 inches and 9/16 square. If you think I can work that out into centimetres in your head, you're very much mistaken, but I will. I will put the metric measurements over on my blog. Link is in the down bar below, as always. And then I've got 2 pieces of mint macaron cardstock. They measure 4 by 5.5 and 2 by 5.5 inches. And a spare piece of crumb cake to make this fabulous little frame. So let's do our scoring first. I'm going to grab my Simply Scored. This is an absolute workhorse in my craft room. Would not be without it. We have a fair bit of scoring to do today because we've got scoring to do on 4 pieces. So I'm going to grab that piece of 6 by 6 crumb cake cardstock first, and I'm going to score each side at 1 inch. So all 4 sides at 1 inch, all of the way around, like that. Now our piece of designer series paper, I'm going to score, which is going to be our lid, I'm going to score at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides, like so. And then we've got these 2 pieces. Now they both need to be scored exactly the same, so we're going to score at 2. We're going to turn it around, we're going to score it at 2 again, and then we're going to flip it over and score at 2 3/4. Okay, so I'll do that again for you. That's scoring at 2, turning it around, scoring it at 2 again. Ooh. And then flipping it over and scoring at 2 3/4. Okay, that is all our scoring done. The next thing we need to do is we need to do some die cutting. So I've got my other square. So I've got 2 squares of 6 by 6 crumb cake. One's got score marks on, the other one hasn't. So I want that piece, and I want our piece of designer series paper is going to be our lid. I've got the Layering Squares framelets, and I've selected 2 of the dies that don't quite, they're not next to each other, so they do give you a kind of, they're not, yeah, although actually they are, no they're not, no, there is a die in between. So brain isn't really working today, as you can tell. I've filmed a fair few videos already this morning. Right, so what we're going to do is the plain die we need to cut into the designer series paper, and then both of them we need to cut into the crumb cake to make a frame. We want our square to be in the middle, so what we're going to do is we're going to work out the exact centre of this piece of cardstock, and then we can position our die. So I'm going to take a ruler and a pencil. Now the great thing about a ruler and a pencil is you can always rub it out, okay? So on to the crumb cake side, because that's going to be the inside of this box, I'm going to go diagonally across corner to corner and draw a line. And I'm going to do exactly the same to the other corner, like so. I then know that that's the middle, and I can use these lines, each one it will line up with a corner of the die, and we can get it exactly square, she says. There. So that is exactly square in the middle of our designer series paper. What I'm going to do is, I've moved it now of course, but I'm going to take a piece of washi tape to hold that in place so I know exactly where it needs to be, like that, and that will run through my big shot. Now the other piece, I'm going to cut that square again out of this one and then cut the scallop. So I'm going to go away and cut this square first, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've used that square die to cut out that middle of that square, and I don't need that. That can go in my scrap pile. And I've finished with the straight edge die because I've also cut out the same from the middle of our designer series paper. So I've then got the scalloped edge die, and I'm going to line this die up over the top of that one, out of our kind of already die cut piece. And then I'm going to grab a piece of washi tape. I'm going to make sure it's lined up nicely in the middle. Grab a piece of washi tape and stick that to where I want it to be. I'm going to run that through my big shot, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so I've run that through my big shot as well, and I'll take all that washi tape off, and we have a frame. Isn't that really sweet? Love that. Right, so what we now need to do is we need to do our little bit of folding and burnishing, and then we can add our frame on before we stick everything together. So fingers first, because it's designer series paper, just to get that, make sure we've got that fold where we want it. This is a bit thicker. This is specialty designer series paper, and it's got that beautiful iridescence to it. But it is a bit thicker, which is why I can use it as a box lid that I've cut a hole in, because it is that bit thicker. I'm going to do the same for the box base. So I'm going to score, fold and burnish on all of the score lines that we cut and scored earlier on, just like that. And then we're going to fold. If you fold the mint macaron pieces in half and then fold the other two back up so you end up with W shapes. Okay. Just like that. And then these are going to sit like that inside our box. That's how our box is going to sit together. Before we do that though, we need to actually adhere everything and form our box. So we're going to take this lovely little crumb cake frame and we're going to pop it onto our lid. We're going to do this while it's still flat because it's a little bit easier. We're going to take some Tombow glue and just add a very, very light amount. Really don't need very much at all. This is a little bit fiddly. So little tiny little dabs all the way around. And I know what you're going to say, oh, liquid glue, I end up with it all over my fingers. Only if you use too much. So if you're getting it everywhere, you're using far too much, and you need to, it's one of those things you use really sparingly. So, because I did have the same problem. Just end up with it everywhere. It's not like, you know, it's not school PVA where you need a glue stick. Or, you know, do you remember what was it? Wasn't that a glue stick? Was it, you know, where you had the... Yeah. Because that, you know what I mean. Oh dear. As I film this, I've been battling an ear infection. And we're still at the very beginning of the month today, because don't normally film this far ahead of time, very, very unusual for me, but my husband is on nights for the next 3 weekends, so I've got to get myself ahead because weekends are my filming time. So it's the very beginning of the month and I am still suffering with an ear infection. It's now gone on for about a week and I'm ready for it to end. So, right, so we're just notching out each square. So I haven't explained that at all. That way. So we're going to cut up that first score line, horizontal score line, and then take a little notch out, and then turn it 90 degrees and do it again. So you end up with four little tabs, one on each corner of your box base and your box lid. Okay, next thing is some tear and tape, or you could use red liner tape, or if you've still got fast fuse you could use that. I've still got some fast fuse, but you can't get hold of it sadly, so I'll use tear and tape on camera. It's still sat on my desk though, because I love it. I've got quite a bit of back stock. Before you ask, no, I am not selling it. Love it too much. I do have actually boxes and boxes of retired things that I do need to get on with putting somewhere on some sort of selling type place. Haven't decided yet whether that's going to be a well-known auction site or whether I'm going to use one of the many dedicated Stampin' Up selling groups on Facebook. That, to be honest, I like the auction site, not because I get any more money, because I don't think I do. I think it probably costs more that way, but it's just, I don't have, you know, my phone doesn't go berserk because I've got people messaging me for it. So haven't decided yet, trying to weigh that up. Right, so we'll take all the backing off of that tear and tape. When you're watching me, my brain isn't always completely engaged. I hope you realise that. And, you know, usually I don't script, I don't edit, so whatever happens to come into my head comes out of my mouth, which is completely how I also am in real life, my friends will tell you. I even have a catchphrase now, because I genuinely, things just fall out of my brain. Not telling you the most embarrassing story ever, because yeah, I'm sure Amanda Charlesworth will tell you that one if you want to ask her. Oh dear. Right, so once we've got all of that tape off, we just need to form our little box. So each tab folds around and the score edge lines up with the cut one on each of the corners, just like that. There we go. And then we just have our inserts to go in. So we have that insert to go in there. They are a snug fit, but it is designed that way. If you fold things backwards and forwards, you'll find that it fits better. So if you do that before it goes in, making sure that they're really nicely folded, I'm going to pop that in there like that, and then pop the lid on. It will sit down. If you've got something in it, it will sit nice and square in the bottom. And we're going to pop our lovely little lid on. It is designed as a snug fit, because you don't want everything popping up all over the place. And that is my very sweet little divided box. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.